Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabel and I am the Starlight Witch. Today we have a little walkthrough of an indie deck called the Fantasy Night Theater tarot cards. This was originally a Kickstarter. I backed it sometime last year, but the campaign was a little unusual in the fact that the creators weren't very responsive to the people. There weren't many updates or comments or replies to the comments. So just before the campaign ended, I actually cancelled my pledge. You know, I panicked a little bit. But the truth is that I really loved the concept of this deck and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So after I fell in love with the Forest imprint tarot cards, thanks to Marine from The Waves of Your Soul, and decided to order it, I discovered that they were the same creators of this deck. And since I couldn't stop thinking about it, I actually decided to buy it. I haven't seen it pretty much anywhere, especially this edition, so I decided to show it to you guys and do a little bit of a walkthrough and pairings. So this is gonna be fun. This is a really interesting box. I've never seen a deck with a box like this. It has this little triangular base and two different flaps. It's really cool. This is created by US Star Wheel Games Systems. They are from China, but they used to have a website that would ship to the US and the US only. So I had to use a forwarding address to actually get this and the other deck. This is the bottom of the box, and I'm not really sure what the whole situation is now that they have the tariffs going in the US, so we shall see. But for now, I think that you might be able to get it through Tavada. They surely have the Forest imprint tarot for sure, so maybe if people request this one, they would also be able to get them for you. But I don't really know. I don't even live in the US, so I cannot really say anything about that. So let's go into the deck itself. Really fancy box, and it opens like this. Ta-da! How cool is that? Like, that is insanely cool. It looks like this from the top. These all came wrapped in plastic and everything as usual. But of course I already took it off. You take these out. It has, okay, yeah, you can see it. It has foam on the inside that keeps the cards in place, and it's really cool. It's all black, and it has a magnetic closure. So cool. Seriously, this box lives in the future. Inside we have the deck, a printed guidebook. Really pretty. I love this image. It's bound and very nice. Half of it is in Chinese. The second half, it has some images throughout. And the first half is actually in English. Oops. All in English, but we'll get into it a little bit later on. I remember from the Kickstarter campaign that there are 3 different versions of this deck, this one is called the collector's edition, but there is a standard and also a mini. This is I guess an introductory card, super pretty. It has lots of gold foil in it. You can see here that the creator is Alessa Deng, really pretty. This is the back, which are the backs of the cards in this particular edition. They have black foiled edges, really shiny, all around. These are the backs. I know that all of the editions have different backs, different cardstock, and different boxes. So I only have this one. I didn't buy any of the other editions. So yeah, the other editions will definitely look different. This again is the collector's edition. It has a black background, well, border, a black border, and gold foil edges, well, on the border. The numbers and the titles of the card are also gold foil, and they're very, very pretty. So let's have a look. We have Magician. This is based on, again, a fantasy theater, though to me it also gives circus vibes, like performative circus, not animals, just performing, like Cirque du Soleil, for example. Think Cirque du Soleil. We have the Empress and the Emperor. It has a very unique what's the word? Perspective, I suppose. Because some of them you can see as if you're sitting in the audience. There's other cards that you can see. This is the one that's on the guidebook and on the introductory card, and it's so beautiful. It's probably my favorite. And there are other cards that you will see that later, that you can see from the perspective of the people who work in lighting. Those that are on top of the stage. So it's very, very cool. I really adore this design, this art style. It's very colorful, with a mostly warm palette. It reminds me of the Night Circus. I adore that book. Look at that. All the eyes. It's just so cool. Look, she's a mermaid standing on a rock that looks like a head. And everyone has masks. I suppose that also gives me circusy vibes. Look at this Judgment. And everyone dancing around him. the world. See here, you can see a different perspective, as if you're somewhat on top of the stage. Even the miners still have the gold foiling all around the borders and their titles. Look at that. At the end of the show, this one is interesting because they are all coming towards his back. I adore this Page of Wands. It's so magical. Well, I didn't talk about the cardstock. New YouTuber here. Sorry about that. I cannot remember from the campaign what type of cardstock this is, but it does feel a little bit plasticky. It's not too thick, not too thin. I think it will be perfect for riffle shuffling. Look at this queen and her kitty cat. And the king, you have perfect pair. He has his little lizard. The colors are almost inverted in their cards. Love. They have black swan hats. I love the perspective on these. The cups are hanging from the ceiling, except the one that is being offered to him directly. How cool is that? Wow. Here the cups are kind of like flowers on the robe, except for the one that they're still holding. Fairies. There is also something a little Alice in Wonderland, just a tiny bit. To me, it mostly reminds me of the Night Circus, if you read that book. I adore this. The moon, the sun, and their little star. How cute is that? Let's see this pair. Very cool. Interesting. There's a little bit of a play between an anatomical heart and just a graphic, simple heart. two people going away from each other with a river in the middle. The hilts of the swords are coming from the bottom, so you could almost say that they inflicted the damage themselves. Interesting. I love how in here you see the swords coming out from the water rather than inside the boat with a character. Oh boy. In a river of blood. Wrong colors, but he looks very, very Zorro-like. And look at this. I don't know, but the helmet gives me Batwoman vibes. Does that make any sense? Look at this bear. How fierce. Love this. And his sword is kind of cracking the floor under his shadow. How cool is that? Oh, interesting. Even though it's not exactly an RWS clone, you can see the influences very clearly on almost every card. I love this one, weaving a starry tapestry. So I do think that it will be very easy to read with this deck. It feels like a sheriff or a cowboy. Oh my god, she's holding the bunny. Look at the bunny. The bear. So good. And we have an extra card here, an extra 3 of swords. Let's find the other and see what the difference is. Come swords, there we go. Okay, so at the beginning it took me a while to see the difference in here, but the difference is on the hilts of the swords. In one card they are at the bottom, in the other they're at the top. So these looks a little bit more traditional, and these has an interesting twist to it, because as I see it is as if these people actually inflicted the damage themselves rather than something that happened to them, maybe. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what your take is for this deck. I do not want 2 3 of swords in my deck, so I think I'm gonna keep this one in and put this one out. So let's see how it shuffles. It's not very thick, so it's not a bad size for my hands to handle. They slide very easily. Oops. I am a very sloppy shuffler sometimes. My small hands sometimes cannot shuffle easily, so I do tend to drop cards a lot. Ooh, High Priestess. Now, if this was a thicker cardstock, I wouldn't try to riffle shuffle this, but I do love to riffle shuffle my decks. So let's try and do this. Okay. Now, because I am a bad YouTuber, nice. This is gonna be easy without the rings. Because I am a bad YouTuber, or a newbie at least, I do not have right next to me a standard size deck to compare the sizes of the cards, but these feels very similar to Llewellyn perhaps, or US Games. Should I? One last little bit, oops, overhand, and let's see if I can find some cards next to me that will give us a size comparison. Ugh. Do we really need the tower on the top? Come on. Okay. So here we have a card from the Soul Cats deck. Seriously, guys? 5 of Pentacles in the tower? Ugh, jeez. Anyways. Okay, let's compare the sizes. So they are a tiny bit taller, about a millimeter taller, and half a millimeter shorter on the wider side. Okay, see? A little bit taller than Llewellyn cardstock, and just a sliver thinner. I refuse. So let's look at some pairings. I have 3 decks that I pulled here to see how they look like together, and I think I have a pretty nice selection that is going to be very cool. Okay, let's start with the Starcodes Astro Oracle. This is by Heather Roan Robbins and published by Hay House. It's mass market, and it's one that I really like. Okay. Alright. So I picked these up because I do think that they have somewhat similar aesthetics. The artwork in here also has black outlines, and bright colors. Now, this has a little bit more of yellow tones in the background. This one is not exactly white, it's kind of a light gray, and that is giving me a different tone that I'm not sure is working for me. But the art styles really go well together. Okay. And look at the messages. Like, Ouch. I'm not quite sure how I feel about the looks, the color palettes. But I do like this pairing. Look at that. Come on. One more. See, they really talk to each other so nicely. You have the choices here, and change is coming, and they both have this circular. Wow. Choose your fighter for change is coming. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there so we don't spend too long in pairings, but this is so good. If only the undertones were more similar. These are the backs, and I just really like it. Okay, that was the Starcodes Astro Oracle by Heather Roan Robbins and published by Hay House. The art is by Lucas Lua de Souza. Cool. Now, I think I'm gonna have issues with the same sort of colors with the other decks. The second that I want to try out is this one, the Citadel, a fantasy oracle by Fez Incrite and published by Liminal 11. Again, this is one that I chose because of the colors, the colorway, and the illustration style. These are the backs, and these are the fronts. And I have kind of the same issue, except that this one does have a stark white background. But let's see. I really like it. Yeah, I like this. I knew that this would be a great pair, and I like it better than the other. Yeah, so much better. These are great. Huh. Oh. These are amazing. Even if this deck has more yellow undertones, it also has bright white in it, and the sort of coppery foil in this one just matches that yellow from this deck. Interesting. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, these two are much made in heaven. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Love these pair. Amazing. Oh boy. Ooh. The messages. Icon. celebration, family with the Two of Cups. Icon. The Spy Master, knowledge, distrust with the Three of Pentacles. Somebody has a Trojan horse. Oh. Yep. This is a match made in heaven, you guys. This is a match made in heaven. It's just, ugh. And the things that are popping up in my mind with all of these messages, wow. Now, on a different note, does anybody know what is happening to Liminal 11? I have a feeling that they might be going out of business. They haven't published any new decks in years, and they constantly have sales for the remaining special edition kits, or at least they did up until last year when I bought this. I've seen creators posting on Instagram that they haven't paid them any royalties in a long time. So does anybody know if they are okay and what's happening with them? Because I'm curious. I don't think that there has been any official words, but I'm very sad to see that happening because I do love so many of their decks, including these one, but also their Sit and Sickle. It makes me very sad to see what's going on with them. But yeah, they do have great works. Like this one, the Citadel, a fantasy oracle, which is so far my favorite. A match made in heaven for this deck. I do, however, have a third and final option. This is brand new to my collection, and it is Zoe Sadler's The Alchemist Oracle, elixirs for personal growth and well-being. Sorry. This is a new deck by Blue Angel. Ta-da! And it is brand new to my collection. I think the Blue Angel is trying a new size for their oracles. These are the backs, really pretty, very colorful. Because this is not as thick as their usual oracles are. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, yeah. And this is really interesting because most of their cards are black and white. The only little bit of color is on the borders here. And this is really cool. But this is one that I'm gonna have to go to the guidebook for. I haven't worked with it yet. It's brand new to my collection. I've only shuffled it. Befuddlement, like that's a really cool word. Ooh, I like. Revive with the Ace of Wands. Nice. That's interesting. Okay. I do love how the illustrations go together. I would have to see what the messages are. in the guidebook. And I can see this being a really good pairing for this deck at some point. But I do have to say that after seeing it with the Citadel, I just don't quite love this as much as I should. Well, not should, as much as I thought I would. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. Definitely not bad at all. But I just like the other one more. So, yeah, I think the best pairing so far is definitely the Citadel. So, that was The Alchemist Oracle by Zoe Sadler and published by Blue Angel, so this is mass market. And again, new YouTuber, I forgot that we can shuffle and actually read from the guidebook. So let's end with a little parting message and see how the guidebook reads. Let's pick a card and get a message. Okay, we have a fallen soldier here, the 10 of Wands. Let's see what the guidebook has to say. Wands, the fire element. Okay. 10 of Wands. Upright, the burdened laborer. Despite a small stature bearing heavy pressures, persisting through the rain, difficult presently with limited abilities but persist towards possible success, can seek help from others or strategize achieving goals in phases. Reversed, the burden finally becomes too overwhelming, forced to abandon these duties or work, but this also represents escape from heavy weights, able to do lighter tasks now. Okay, not bad, but I think it's definitely been roughly translated from the Chinese because it doesn't read very fluidly, and this comes from another non-native English speaker. So that's interesting. But that's it for today, you guys. My little walkthrough of the collector's edition of the Fantasy Night Theater Tarot by US Star Wheel Games System. I hope, oops, other way around. Yep, okay. I hope that you liked my little video. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you would like to see more content like this, or if you like any of my other videos. It would really help me grow my channel, and I'd really appreciate it. So thank you guys, and let me know in the comments if you liked any of the pairings or if you have any other decks that you would like to use it with. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!